All right, here we go. So I'm going to teach you how to reproduce all of the things we need to memorize for the periodic table quickly, okay? Not necessarily quickly, but I'll show you the tricks that I use. Okay, so first of all, you need 18 columns, right? And you need 4 rows. Okay, so you want to draw that out as best as you can. Okay, that's where you're going to start there. Okay, so what I start with, I mean, you have to already know at this point that hydrogen is the first element, right? So we're going to go ahead and put hydrogen there, okay? And then a good way to remember that helium is next is just like a laugh, like hee, you know? Helium is going to be next, which is up here. And you just kind of have to remember that they are on their own row, okay? So that 1s1, 1s2 electron configuration is hydrogen and helium, okay? And the way I kind of do this, I kind of do like drawing boxes, but I'm going to try to do this without boxes just because it's a little cleaner, okay? So to continue here, I like studying in the library. It's not BR here. You just have to keep that in mind. So you can also think of like libel, not necessarily library. That could be a little tricky, but this is BE. That's lithium and that's beryllium, okay? That's it for there. You can keep going down this these two groups if you want. So after this, and I'm recalling this all right now. So okay, so after this is the mnemonic I use for this is Na Mang, which is kind of like Philly slang, but you have to look at the two that you're going to get confused with is magnesium and manganese, okay? So this is not manganese. This is, you're going to look at the M and the G. You can also think of like milligrams of sodium too is another thing. So that's how you have, that might even be better, milligrams of sodium, or Na-Mang with the M and the G. But that is magnesium. We're going to use manganese a little bit later, okay? So that's that. Okay, and then below this, I think of Kc in the sunshine band. So K, potassium. And then Kc, just don't forget your A, Kc and the sunshine band, potassium and calcium, okay? So that is all we need for there. And then our fourth row is going to start with our next elements. But let's go over here, okay? What I remember is hang on, which one was this? Oh, chicken nuggets only fried, okay? And what letter becomes before C, B? So you could even say barbecue chicken nuggets only fried. So that's gonna be your next row starting here. Remember, fluorine is a halogen, which is in the 7. There's gonna be your O, N, C, B, okay? Remember that the groups are your valence electrons. So we know carbon makes 4 bonds, and you can remember that just to make sure things are lining up, that carbon is on your 4, okay? And I think of 7 as just my favorite number, you know, holy, halo, halogen. So you can kind of use those as anchors here to make sure everything's lined up correctly, all right? And then, yeah, just remember there are no elements here or here. Okay, so if you're looking at your atomic numbers, you know, helium, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you kind of know carbon is 6, you know, carbon 12, 6 and 6. All right, so I'm not going to keep writing them, but just as kind of a check here. Okay. Going down group 18 here, I think of here and near. All right, but here is first, near is second, and then you need the second part of that, which is argon. All right, so here and near, that's how I get there. Okay. And then I start filling in from here. So nitrogen, I think of nurse practitioners. Okay, I can think of a nurse practitioner writing a letter. She puts PS at the end. Okay, moving back from here, I have an aluminum can, which I like to take a sip of, okay? And then following that after P and S, I think of, how did I think of this one? It's chlorine. You can think of that in a couple of different ways. Chlar kind of forms kind of a word here, or I think of F and Cl, fecal, I mean, for whatever it's worth. But yeah, aluminum can, sip. You can even S, you know, a sip of soda or sips. There you go. Okay. Or after you're done sipping from a can, you have to clean it and you have Cl. Okay. All right, so that is there, and then we are going to start. There's also no elements here. Remember, there's only one row of transition metals that we need to memorize, and that's going to be in the next one here, which can be a little confusing. But I am going to draw some lines here, just so we kind of know what's happening. So just remember, we only have to remember to zinc. Zinc is the last one. Zinc is going to be 30. All right. How do you know that zinc is the last one? Because vitamins go from A to zinc. All right. We've all heard that before. Okay. Now I like to start from the other side. So from the third row here. These transition metals, you know, their d orbitals are kind of screwed up. They're kind of in a whole land to their own. They're kind of scandalous, okay? So remember that. Scandal, which is scantium or scandium or whatever. What kind of scandal? A TV scandal, right? Titanium, vanadium, all right? A TV scandal, okay. So these are the last ones we need. We're almost done. Okay, these are the last ones we need, and we're all done. Okay. So a couple of things. Zn, I remember cousin. Okay, there is your copper. All right, almost done. The other mnemonics I think of are Iron Man, and Coney Island, which is spelled with a Y, but we're not going to spell it that way. Coney Island is also C-I. Okay. Or no, that doesn't make sense, but okay, so Coney Island is the next one here, and CO is cobalt, which is gonna go here, and in Coney Island is nickel. Okay, nickel, and I kind of remember nickel and copper are next to each other just because of, you know, pennies and nickels, so you can remember that. You can also remember NICU, you know, critical care unit for babies in a hospital. Okay, so Coney cousin we have here, and then Iron Man is the last one, and then there's going to be a little attachment to that. You just have to remember that Iron Man is backwards, so iron is going to be here, and then man, that is where manganese comes into play, okay? The last thing is, I don't know if you've ever heard of Cro-Magnon man, which is like a caveman, but that's chromium. Cro-Magnon man came before Iron Man. Okay, that is the first 30 elements in the periodic table, okay? And just stupid ways that I memorized today. Now, yeah, you eventually just want to be able to think of an element and know the atomic number, and obviously I need to fill out these numbers, so you're going to start to get, used to those. But this is a way to at least, during an exam, be able to write this down and check if what you know is correct. And I think this is also useful. The hard part, I think, is remembering that there's two other ones we need to remember here. This is bromine, and this is iodine. So we need to remember the electron configuration for not all of these, but most of these, okay? The one you really have to remember is that hydrogen is 2.1. You just have to remember that, okay? And then the other thing I remember is I love Christmas. When is Christmas? The 25th. Iodine is 2.5. But we need bromine. How many words are here? 1, 2, 3. 25 plus 3 is 28. Bromine is 2.8. Okay, then you want to anchor over here on the left, because easily enough, lithium, and again, these are electronegativity amounts that I'm writing here. Lithium is 1. You just have to remember that. But everything anchors off of that. Sodium is 0.8. Sodium is 0.9. They all reduce by 1 when you go down. Potassium is 0.8. Okay. Row 2 is the easiest. They all go up by 0.5. 1.5. 2. 2.5. 3. 3.5. And the ultimate electronegative fluorine, 4. F4 is where you stop. If you know, Alt F4 is a shortcut on a computer to end a program. That's where you stop. Okay, that makes sense. So they all go up by 0.5. Okay. The next one you can think is row 3. These are all going to increase by 0.3 until they get to a 0.5. So look at this, right? Or maybe not necessarily, but let's get, okay. So 0.9, this is going to be manganese is 1.2. Aluminum is going to be 1.5. Silicon is going to be 1.8. Phosphor is going to be 2.1. And sulfur is going to be, let me think about this for a second. 2.1, no, this is the clue. Once you hit 2.1 on this P, I remember that hydrogen is 2.1. This is a clue that you need to stop here, okay? Stop when after you're sipping your soda. You don't want to sip it too fast, okay? You can also think of S here for stop, because you're going to change the rate at which you increase here. Instead of by 0.3, you're going to go by 0.4. Nice even number. And then it ends off nice and even with chlorine being 3. Okay? So really these first two halogens just really like being nice even numbers. 4, 3 is not even, but you know what I mean. So as you can follow that trend, easily get to phosphorus, and just know 2.1, okay, this means something. S means stop. 2.1 matches hydrogen. I need to increase by 0.4, and then I need to increase by 0.5. Those are electronegative numbers there, okay? Now, we were just going up by 0.3. The next row, 4, increases by 0.2. Okay? And really, you only need to know that calcium is 1.0. Okay? And that's it. Those are all the electronegative numbers. This is the entire periodic table. I was very overwhelmed with thinking about memorizing all of this. but I was able to do it just really within an hour, and then I've kind of been revisiting it today. So let me just double check and make sure that I got these correct. All right, HLINAKBEMGCA, yes. SCTIVCRMNFECO okay? HEBCNOF, barbecue chicken nuggets, only fried, here and near AL, sip from your aluminum, SCLAR. Okay, so those are all correct. Those are all in the correct areas here. Don't forget your electron configurations. Okay, another thing you can look at here, and you just have to remember that, this is 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. This is also 1s, 2s, and then, this starts 2p, 3p, and then this is 3d. I believe I'm doing that correctly. And okay, let's double check our electronegativity numbers. Let me just take a quick screenshot of this. So it's really looking, what I did here was just look at patterns. Which allowed me to see that these numbers really aren't too scary, all right? Okay, so let's just check H2.1, lithium 1, Be 1.5, 0.9, 1.2, 0.8, 1.0. We have 2, 2.53, 3.54, 1.5, 1.8, 2.1, 2.53. I Love Christmas gives us 2.5 and 2.8. There you go. So those are all the electronegative numbers. And hopefully this was helpful.